There's a sound that can quiet the oldest fear center in your brain. Not a metaphor, a real measurable change, something a brain scanner can actually see, filmed inside a hospital in Bangalore, in people doing nothing more than making one low sound with their lips closed. And nobody ever told you why. You've made this sound before. You just wouldn't have called it chanting. You've hummed a song under your breath. You've let out a long, low of relief without even thinking about it. Your body already knows the shape of it. And here's the strange part. What the old teachers worked out thousands of years ago, the machines are only now catching up to. This sound isn't decoration. It isn't superstition. It's a switch. And if you hold it for 10 minutes, it slowly changes the way your brain hears the world. The sound is Om, sometimes written Om, one syllable, three little movements of the mouth that fold into a fourth thing, which isn't really a sound at all. To the old sages of India, this was never just a word. They called it the first vibration. The hum they believed the whole universe was still quietly making. I know how that sounds. Stay with me because what's underneath it is very real. Break the sound apart, the way the ancients did, and you find three pieces. The A starts deep, an open ah born low in the belly. The U rolls it forward into an oo, moving up through the chest, and the M closes your lips and sends it backward, a humming moom. You don't so much hear as feel, buzzing behind your teeth, inside your skull. Then comes a fourth part, and the yogis loved this one most of all. Silence, the pause after the hum. When the sound has stopped, but you haven't stopped paying attention. There's an entire ancient text devoted to just this one syllable. It's called the Mandukya Upanishad, one of the oldest teaching texts in the whole yogic tradition, and it spends its short length mapping those four movements onto four states of your own mind: waking, dreaming, deep sleep, and the still awareness sitting underneath all three. They weren't describing a sound. They were describing you. So why would one little hum do anything at all to your brain? Here's where the old wisdom and the new machines finally shake hands. Put your fingertips on your throat right now and hum. Go ahead. Feel that? That buzz isn't your imagination. It's your vocal cords vibrating the air. And that vibration travels. It moves through your throat, your jaw, the roof of your mouth, the bones of your face and skull, and on its way, it passes right over a nerve the yogis could never have named, but somehow learned to pull like a rope from the inside. That nerve is the vagus nerve. In plain English, it's the long wandering cable that runs from your brainstem down into your heart, your lungs, your gut. It's the master control line for everything your body does when it feels safe. When it's active, your heart slows, your breath deepens, your alarm systems stand down. Doctors have a name for that state. They call it rest and repair, the exact opposite of fight or flight. And one branch of that vagus nerve runs right through your throat and around your ear, which is exactly where the hum auto of Om buzzes hardest. In 2011, researchers at a major neuroscience institute in Bangalore, led by a scientist named Bangalore Kalyani, tried something clever. They put people inside an fMRI scanner, a machine that watches which parts of the living brain light up, moment to moment, and they asked them to chant Om. Then, just to be sure, they had those same people make a plain, toneless shoust for comparison. The difference was hard to ignore. When people chanted Om, the emotional alarm centers of the brain went quiet. The amygdala, your brain's smoke detector, the little almond-shaped part that fires up in fear and stress, calmed right down. And the researchers noticed something almost eerie. The pattern looked just like what happens when doctors deliberately stimulate that vagus nerve to treat depression. Sit with that for a second. A medical machine, sending electricity into that nerve to treat serious illness, and a person humming with their mouth closed, both of them nudging the very same circuit. But the vibration is only half the story, because to chant Om slowly, you have to breathe slowly. You've got no choice. The hum is long, so your out-breath has to be long, and a long out-breath pulls a long, quiet in-breath behind it. Chant at an unhurried pace, and your breathing naturally drops to about 5 or 6 full breaths a minute. Most of us, most of the day, breathe 2 or 3 times that fast. And that number, 6 breaths a minute, is not random. It's almost exactly the rhythm your heart and blood vessels already move to on their own. In 2001, an Italian physician named Luciano Bernardi published a study in the British Medical Journal that's quietly become a classic. He wasn't studying Om, actually. He was studying 2 very old practices side by side. The Ave Maria of the Catholic Rosary, recited in Latin, and a yogic mantra, chanted the old way. And he found something neither tradition ever knew it was doing. Both of them slowed the breath to almost exactly 6 cycles a minute. And at that pace, something beautiful happened inside the body. The waves in the heart rate, the blood pressure, the blood flow to the brain, they all started rising and falling together, in step, in one smooth, synchronized rhythm. The chant was tuning the whole system, like a string being brought into pitch. So look at what's really going on here. 2 levers, pulled at the same time. The vibration of the hum, reaching down the vagus nerve to soften the brain's fear, and the slow breath that hum forces on you, pulling your heart and your blood into one calm wave. The ancients folded both of those into a single syllable and handed it down for thousands of years, wrapped in the language of the divine, because they had no other language for it yet. Now let me walk you through what actually happens across 10 minutes of it. The first minute is loud, not the sound, your mind. The moment you go quiet, the noise comes rushing forward. Tomorrow's to-do list, some conversation from 3 days ago, an itch on your shoulder. This is completely normal, and the old teachers expected it. There's a network in your brain that scientists call the default mode network. It's the machinery of mind wandering, of chewing on the past and worrying about the future. It's that endless inner voice that keeps saying I, me, mine. A researcher at Yale named Judson Brewer has shown that in seasoned meditators, this exact network goes quieter. The chatter of the self turns down, and by the 3rd or 4th minute, the chant starts doing that work for you, because now your attention has one thing to rest on: the hum, the buzz in your face, that long, slow tail of sound, so it stops feeding the wandering. You're not fighting the noise. You're just giving it nothing to burn. Somewhere past the 5th minute, your body follows. The long out-breaths have stacked up. Your heart rate has settled. Warmth might spread through your hands. The alarm centers, less and less provoked, keep sinking lower. That's the vagus nerve, fully awake now, telling every organ it touches that there's no threat, that it's safe to rest, safe to repair. Your face might soften without your permission. And that isn't mood. That's chemistry. And then there's the part the yogis cared about most. The part the machines can barely touch. The silence at the end of the hum. Every time the imam fades out, there's a little gap before your next breath rises. In fast chanting, you fly right past it. But go slow for 10 minutes, and those gaps start to open up. The sound ends, but your attention keeps listening into the quiet that's left. The ancients called this the 4th state, the awareness that's there when you're awake, there when you're dreaming, even there in deep sleep. It's usually just buried under all the noise, and they believed the whole point of the sound was to carry you to the edge of that silence, then dissolve, and leave you standing in it. So here's the twist. The thing almost nobody tells you, the power of Om, isn't in the sound. It's in what the sound leaves behind. The vibration is the vehicle. It was never the destination. It slows your breath. Oh, it soothes your nerve. It quiets your alarm. It thins out the fog of the wandering mind. And then, having done all of that, it stops, and it hands you a mind that is, for a few moments, unusually still and unusually clear. The sages weren't worshiping a noise. They were using a noise to get somewhere the noise itself could never go, which is exactly why chanting for 10 minutes is nothing like chanting for one. In the first minute, you're still surfacing. The nerve has barely warmed up. The breath hasn't stretched out yet. The mind hasn't cleared its first wave. It's in the minutes after, minute 6, minute 7, minute 8, that the layers start peeling off, one by one, until what's left is quiet enough to notice itself. So let this be something you can actually feel tonight, not just something you now know. You don't need a temple. You don't need to believe a single thing. Just find somewhere you won't be disturbed. Sit with your spine long and your shoulders soft. Close your eyes. Take one slow breath in through your nose, and on the way out, let the sound come. Ah, opening low in the belly, rolling into ooh through the chest, closing into a long humming behind your lips until the breath runs all the way out. Feel the buzz in your teeth, your cheekbones, the top of your skull. Then, before you rush to breathe in again, pause. Just rest in the silence for a moment. Then let the next breath rise on its own and begin again. Do that for 10 minutes, not 1, 10, long enough for the nerve to soften, the breath to lengthen, the alarm to go quiet, and the silence at the end of each hum to grow wide enough to stand in. There's a sound that can quiet the oldest fear center in your brain, and you've been carrying it in your own throat your entire life. The ancients only ever asked you to make it slowly. Close your lips and listen to what stays behind when it ends.